Hey, this is Eddie Erdogan, the Armenian assassin, feeling blessed as I'm listening to the Rowdy Wrestling Podcast.
There's a rowdy crowd today.
Hey now, everybody. Welcome to the Rowdy Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Tony Stabile. Ha! What a wonderful summer we're having, everybody. The WWE Cruiserweight Classic has officially begun. I don't know about you guys, but I'm personally very, very jazzed about it. I got to watch it. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch it live, celebrating an uncle's birthday and whatnot. Apparently, family and friends come before pro wrestling, according to my girlfriend. She's sorely mistaken. But I got to watch it today, so for me, I really personally enjoyed it. We're going to get into it a little bit later on in the show, as beforehand, I do have a fun little conversation with my friend Patrick Lefebvre, who's been a lifelong wrestling fan. And we talked a little bit about that. We talked about his experience at Comiccon here in Montreal just this past weekend, where he got to hang out with Ric Flair and Eric Bischoff for a little bit. Now, unfortunately, they weren't able to grant interviews over the weekend to everybody. And Patrick was one of the people who unfortunately couldn't do it due to time constraints more than anything. And so we got to talk a little bit about that and have a little bit of fun. Once the conversation with my buddy Patrick is up, come back and we'll talk, you and I, mano y mano, mano y mana. Anyways, person to person, dude to dude, dude to dude den, of the Cruiserweight Classic. We're going to talk about that. We're going to have some fun. Now, here's just a little precursor for for my chat with Patrick. Patrick does have some disabilities, so he's confined to a wheelchair, and we were using Skype, and so recording through Skype is never always perfect. So I've tweaked the audio for it to be as amplified as much as I can, so it's as crisp as it possibly can be. And, just really get to enjoy and hear the story of a guy who fell in love with wrestling all the way back in the early 80s and has stuck around this entire time. So he's one of those diehards that I'm proud to associate myself with, as this is what this podcast is designed to do. It's share the love of pro wrestling and promote anything and everything that is that can be done with the world of pro wrestling, independent or WWE. So let's pay some bills, and then we'll get into my chat with Patrick Lefebvre.
Before the game, after the action, the only place you should be is MontrealHockeyTalk.com. 1 hour before every Habs game, our pregame show delivers the deets. Who's hot, who's cold, complete coverage with Stephen Hindle and Steve Farnham. Then 5 minutes after every game, tune right back in as Nick Burdocco and Coach K break it all down, play by play and hit by hit. The postgame show wraps up your night. MontrealHockeyTalk.com.
So how was it meeting Ric Flair and Eric Bischoff?
I've been a fan of Flair for over 30 years, and meeting an icon is just unbelievable. Really nice guy, and he really lives up to his character.
Yeah.
When I met him on Saturday night, he said, "Find me a woman. Tell her to come up to my room." I'm like, "You have a fiance. I'm single. I need a woman." And when he saw me on Sunday, because he invited me back on Sunday to take a picture with him and Eric, first thing he says to me is like, "You didn't do what I asked you to do." We laughed it off, but really nice guy.
Typical. I mean, you can't expect anything else from him.
Typical Flair.
Exactly. Wow.
But what's weird is his fiance is sitting right next to him. It's a really nice experience.
Yeah, well, after what, 4 marriages, I think every fiance should expect that from him.
Yeah. Apparently, I got an email from WWE Network, and one of the sources they're going to try and do is called The Wives of Flair. They want to do a reality series with Flair's ex-wives.
Oh, man.
That should be fun.
Do you think that's going to replace the alimony payments?
No wonder he charges so many bucks a picture because he needs the money. 3x5 cents. The guy's broke.
Well, I'm guessing 68 of those $70 go to his ex-wives.
But I'll be honest. He didn't charge me a damn thing.
Ah, that's a nice of him.
Yeah, and Bishoff didn't either. I asked Bishoff how much he wanted. He's like, Camille, I'm only here to take pictures. And then Comic-Con had the money. So,
Bishoff, too, another class act.
Yeah, but during the face-off, he came off as a bit of an asshole.
How come?
People kept asking him if he was taking talent from Vince in the 90s.
Yeah?
And he said no. Which, it's a lie.
Yeah.
But, I met him on Sunday and he was like, super nice. We talked for like 10 minutes. At first, when I met both Flair and Bishoff, they kind of talked down to me, like most people do. But after I told them how old I was, they were like, fuck, I'm sorry.
Well, you have the fountain of youth as well. I mean, it's not like Graham and I where, we just kind of went bald and looked like we're 60 when we were like 25.
No, but I went to dinner with my mom for my birthday a month ago, and the waitress thought I was 17.
Oh. Well, she was going a little too low there.
Yeah. I was like, no, tonight's my 40th birthday. Can I have a meal, please? She's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. But, I saw the TV show last night. It was pretty good, but I think that WWE is going to be more like the UFC. I don't know if you watched it last night.
Well, yeah, no, I did watch, and we're recording at the same time, so I'm just going to specify for anybody that's listening, the Cruiserweight Classic. You feel the approach to it was a little too UFC for you?
Yeah, I mean, come on. Having guys shake hands with the match, and like, at the end of the matches, when the winner is opening the door and the referee stands in the middle and like raises the middle hand. Come on.
I'm going to agree and disagree with you there, and I'll let you know why. I agree with you at the very beginning of the match. I don't like the referee, what he says. I do, however, like that they bring him together. The fact that the referee goes, I gave you the instructions in the back. Do you have any questions? That is so dumb. I'm going to agree with you. At least in MMA, the referee's like, all right, so we went over in the back. I want a clean fight. Shake hands or touch hands now if you want. And if you want is always important. This one, I believe the second match where, was it Clément Pitois versus Cedric Alexander? He just looked at him and the ref kept going, shake hands. Shake hands. You look stupid.
Yeah, no, but what I didn't like is after the 3 count, when they bring the guys together in the match in the middle.
Yeah. That's prolonging the agony of the loser.
Like, it's wrestling, man. It's not boxing. There's no judges scorecard. Like, we all want to know what the damn man. No, it's true.
No, you're right. I think the reason they're doing it is, if you noticed at the beginning of every match, they actually said one fall, this is a one fall finish match with a 20-minute time limit. And I haven't heard in WWE a time limit on a match in forever. So I'm hoping one of the matches ends in a time limit.
But the last time that they even announced like time limit matches was like in '85.
Yeah, it's been way too long. I'm a fan of the time limit limit.
I am too, because I'm a fan of classic wrestling.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a big Ric Flair fan. I like seeing two guys, wrestle for 35, 45 minutes. When you're always on the edge of your seat.
Exactly. It's that's why a 21-minute comedy will never beat a 2-hour movie, in the sense that you can tell a better drawn out story with more time.
What did you think of Daniel Bryan's first commentary bit?
At the risk of sounding like a big Daniel Bryan fan, I thought he was head and shoulders above every color commentary WWE has had almost ever, and that's likely because no one was yelling at him in his ears.
How do you know?
From what I've heard, and I hate talking about the backstage news on the show, what I've heard is Triple H, who was producing, was hands off on the commentary and let Mauro Ranallo and Daniel Bryan do what they wanted to do for the commentating, as opposed to Monday Night Raw, where Vince McMahon is yelling at Michael Cole and JBL in their headsets.
Yeah. But that's nice. I think Daniel Bryan's going to be an awesome addition to a commentary team. My match in the night was the last one. I'm sorry if I screw up the names,
Don't worry. Everybody's going to have trouble with their names.
The Yabusi. Some of the stuff that guy does, like going off the top rope, somersaulting over under the guy. Just amazing stuff.
Well, by about halfway through the match, because of Daniel Bryan, I believe that we could have had an upset victory where Ibushi would have lost to Maluda. I thought that for me, thanks to Mauro Ranallo and Daniel Bryan specifically, I believed it could have happened. We knew it wasn't, but I believed it.
Yeah, I know it's early on in the tournament, but I predict a spoiler. I think what's going to happen, and I'm sorry for everybody listening out there, I think Mysterio's going to come back and win the whole tournament.
You think?
Come on, man.
He is a golden boy.
There's a rumor that he's going to come back at SummerSlam. I think that's what's going to happen. I think the finals of the tournament, or the semifinals and finals, will be at SummerSlam. And, it's got to be Mysterio.
Yeah, well, that's a possibility. There certainly could sub out some of the guys and have bigger names come in. Now, I've got a question for you. Moving away from the tournament, I want to know about you because the way it was introduced to me is you've been a wrestling fan for pretty much ever.
Yeah.
When did you start?
I started, like I was telling Eric on Sunday, the very first match I saw was Jimmy Snuka, Don Morocco, in the cage at the Garden in '83. And when Snuka went off the cage on Morocco, I was 7 at the time, and I was mesmerized. And I've been hooked ever since.
I'll be honest, I'm pretty jealous that you got to have that as a childhood memory. I fortunately and unfortunately only got to live about it through the promos on Monday Night Raw with Mick Foley. But oh my God, that's so wonderful. So from there, it was just head on, just nothing but got to get more wrestling.
Yeah, well, my grandfather, my dad's dad, got me hooked on it. You know, every Saturday he would sit me on his lap and we would, you know, watch it together. And we watched every pay-per-view together from 91 until the day he died in 2000. Because don't forget, pay-per-view only started here in Montreal in late 91. You know.
Yeah, that's right. So for what were you doing before that? Were you just trying to pick up as many as you could, like on the old what were they, Coliseum video?
Yeah, like I would ask my mom and dad to like reserve the videotape at the local video store. So every time like WrestleMania or SummerSlam would come out on video, the video store would call me and say, okay, we have the video, come get it.
Wow.
I would rent it, you know.
No,
But
I rented far too many videos and DVDs when I was younger too for wrestling.
So did I. I used to have one of my drivers who brought me to school. His uncle had one of those old school satellite dishes.
Yeah.
You know, back in the old days, it was the only way to get American channels. And with those satellite dishes, you couldn't watch free pay-per-view, right?
Depending on how you had it, yeah.
So he would like tape the events for me. And I have a bunch from the old WCW. Well, I used to. My mom still has boxes and boxes of old VHS tapes. But now with the WWE Network, nobody needs those tapes anymore.
Yeah, well, they killed the tape trader. They officially killed the tape traders.
And I don't have to go buy DVDs anymore. I used to like buy a DVD a month or every 2 months. But now with WWE Network, I don't even have to buy the DVDs anymore.
No, you're right. I used to have a wall, and about, I think in 2011 or 12 when they first announced the network, they all just went to the pawn shop. I got rid of all of them, and I was like, this is great. And then 3 years later, we got the network.
Yeah, I'll let you in on a little secret. I got the network almost, 2 months after it was announced. I hope there's no cops listening to the program, but I got myself a fake American address.
Crafty.
And I got the network in August of 2012. No, 2013.
Nice. That's cool. Hey, when you have connections, why not use them?
I didn't have connections. What I did was I went on Google.
Yeah?
Just typed in Walmart American addresses. And I picked a Walmart that was closest to Montreal and Albany, New York.
Okay.
And I used the address and it worked. So, but now that Videotron, you can get the on-demand stuff for your Videotron account, I canceled that. So now it's all legal.
Well, of course. I mean, why do something illegal when we have the legal option now? So right before I let you go, I want to know your opinion here because we're going into the WWE draft. We now know Shane McMahon will be heading up SmackDown. We have Stephanie on Raw. Who are the first two picks? Who do you think are going to be the first two picks of the draft?
First two picks, Cena and Roman Reigns.
Okay, now where do each go? Does Cena go to Raw or SmackDown?
What? I would see Cena going to Raw because Raw, in my opinion, Raw will always be the bigger show.
Of course.
I'm not a big fan of this brand extension. I hated it when they did it in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you why.
Please.
The fact that I don't like two world champions and like there's too many titles.
Okay, I agree. I agree.
I just wanna, I know why they're doing it, but it's confusing. I mean, I grew up in the 80s. Well, there was only like, this is how old I am. I remember the Terry, well, not the Terry days, but I remember the AWA and the NWA, and there was only like 3 more champions. There was Flair, there was Bachwinkle in the AWA, and there was Hogan in WWF. Nowadays, there's like, I don't even know who the TNA World Champion is.
Not many people do.
I'll be honest, I don't watch TNA. I personally think that Vince is going to buy it out in 5 years. It's going to be interesting.
It is going to be a very interesting time. All right, I don't want to take too much of yours because I gotta get on with the show. Patrick, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you so much for talking. I just love talking about pro wrestling and finding other fans who have been loving it all their lives like me. It's great to talk to.
And Tony, like I told you on Facebook, and I don't want to tell you too much of my personal story, but I'm always looking for people to like go to the event Smith and watch like the pay-per-view Smith because I don't get to go out. Yeah, I went to Comic-Con last week and it was great, but the next time I go out is in November. I really don't get to go out a lot because it's hard for me for the people who don't know me. I'm in a wheelchair and it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanna like come over, have a beer and like watch SummerSlam with me, or if there's any one of your listeners out there wants that just hang out with a fellow wrestling fan, I would love it. I try to go to all the events and the Bell Center. I just need people to go out.
Yeah, no, I listen. We'll set something up off air, you and I, and we'll talk in the coming weeks because there's plenty of wrestling to be watched, and why the hell not? Let's have some fun.
Yeah, I mean, I got a nice big 42-inch high-def TV in my living room, man. I'm tired of watching all these events alone.
I know exactly how you feel.
Thanks for allowing me on your show, and anytime you want me to come on, let me know.
You'll always be welcome on the show.
Thanks.
Thank you, Patrick.
You have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I just want to thank Patrick one more time for coming on the show this week to talk some pro wrestling. It's always good to speak with a lifelong fan who's been with it since the 80s, and that says a lot. I mean, he stuck around through the lulls of the mid-90s. He stuck around through the lulls of the majority of the 2000s. So, diehard fans like that are the reason why I love wrestling, because I know there's people just as crazy as I am out there. So kudos and thank you once more, Patrick. And everybody, listen, the Cruiserweight Classic is on. Patrick and I spoke about it. He seemed a little down on it, and to be honest, I've seen some very mixed reviews all over the internet, and for me, I find that really fun. That's a polarizing situation. Now, more comments are positive than negative, and let's really dive into the negative of it first. Let's get that out of the way. What Patrick had touched on was the fact that they were bringing the guys into the ring. Now, at the beginning and at the end of the matches. And it's really at the end of the matches that I wholeheartly agree with it. This is pro wrestling, and for the longest time that we've been watching pro wrestling, the winner gets his arm raised by the referee while the loser is either down on the ground, lost, out, or just simply out of the picture. You got to let the winner shine. That's how it goes. And unless it's a thing where there wasn't a decisive winner at the end of the match, and you got to go to a judge's decision or something of the sort. Remember what TNA was trying to do in like the early 2000s before everything got really good in 2005, 6, and 7? So when they and I thought about it immediately on the second match of the show when I really clued in. Okay, they're gonna say a time limit for every one of these matches. So if they're bringing the guys in the middle and they're going to do the typical arm raise, the MMA or boxing arm raise thing, one of these matches has to go to a time limit draw, and they got to have some sort of system in place where they're going to, name a winner through it. Now, they haven't spoken about it. They haven't talked about it, typical wrestling fashion, naturally. So I doubt highly that's going to happen. That's more of, the super nerd, quote-unquote, Mark here pushing his glasses going, thing. It's one of those things that I think about and I overthink. Naturally, that's what it is. I just overthink these things too much. So I'm going to agree with Patrick. At its base, bringing both guys in at the end and, referee holding both of their arms down and then the winner is announced and he gets his arm raised. I'd rather just have, the bell ring and the guy get up and the referee try to run after him and like, this is your winner. That's cool. I'm up for it. What I did like, though, is the new style we're going to call ROH of early 2000s where referee brings the guys in the middle, shake hands. What I didn't like, though, as I mentioned, was referee telling you, shake hands, shake hands, shake hands. No, go the MMA route. Touch gloves if you want now. Shake hands if you want now. So that's all they got to say. If you want, shake hands. And that way you can play off of it and not make like the heel look like some sort of defiant asshole to the ref. No, respect the fucking refs. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. I also didn't like the ref saying, all right, we went over the rule. We went over my instructions in the back. Do you have any questions? Why didn't the guy ask questions in the back? No, go, we went over the rules in the back. I want a clean fight. Now touch gloves. That would have been cool. If that would have happened, I would have been like, all right, no complaints. And I like that concept. I do. I like the handshake at the beginning. I'm old school. I'm traditionalist that way. So big ups on them for that. Now, on to the good. Much like Patrick, Daniel Bryan, holy crap, on the commentating, it's kind of my thing, on the commentating of this show was listen, when CM Punk started commentating occasionally on the indies and then they realized in WWE and decided to put him on as much as they could, it was a surprise to no one unless you were Vince McMahon. The guy has chops, so it was really great to listen to him. What was surprising is actually Daniel Bryan on commentary with no need to be, because the times he was on commentary in WWE, it was to push a storyline, so they had an agenda to be pushed. Now, holy crap, He destroyed JBL, destroy everybody. If you go and ask Paul Heyman tomorrow who the best color commentator in the business is, it won't be Corey Graves anymore. It'll be Daniel Bryan, I assure you. Wow. So the fact that you had more Ronaldo there and getting to continue calling the action like he does without somebody in his ear, and having Daniel Bryan there to be the highlighter, the verbal highlighter of stories, of matches, of guys, of moves, for me, the tournament felt special just because, yes, we had different commentators, fantastic, and because we had commentators who, A, love wrestling, and B, there was no interference. You could tell there's no one in their ears. There's no one being like, repeat, Kota Ibushi, such and such, such and such. No. You just had guys calling it, and they would emphasize what they felt needed to be done at that time. Sure, they probably had notes that were given to them beforehand, but that doesn't matter. You go with the flow, and that's the way I feel on commentary. Everybody shines. Is don't go in their ears. If something doesn't work out this episode or this time around, someone can come around and give you some pointers, and then you work on it from there. And that's how you get good at real commentating, pro wrestling commentating. What Michael Cole does on Monday Night Raw is shitty but impressive narration. We'll leave it at that. Now back to the tournament itself. We had 4 matches. Clément Petois, who was, or Petiot, as they kept saying, I don't know how to pronounce it, and I live in Quebec, versus Cedric Alexander. You had Arya Daivari versus Ho Ho Lun. You had Alejandro Saez versus Grand Metalik, and Kota Ibushi versus Sean Maluda. Hey, this is the way you start off a tournament. Just fantastic matches up and down the card. Not great matches. Let's put it out there, but all these guys worked on what I'm going to call is what I used to call an indie WWE match, which has morphed into the NXT style. They essentially just had an NXT style set of matches. I had nothing against it. All throughout the night, some really great stuff happened. Sean Maluda nearly killing himself. Alejandro Saez taking that phenomenal finish from Grand Metalik, where it was I used to what wasn't it called, the Static Shock back in the day? It's a fireman's carry into a fisherman, I guess a fisherman drop or pile driver or whatnot. Anyways, just taking something that looked incredibly vicious. I mean, and all of the guys on the card, I got to give up to Arya Daivari, Sean Daivari, as they didn't even call him that. They just called him I'm Arya Daivari, little brother of former WWE superstar Daivari. I mean, just give the guy a first name, even if he didn't have one. I think his name was Korsova or Korsov or something. Anyways, Sean Daivari's little bro. That being said, this guy looked like a WWE wrestler. I don't know. He looked like he was tall enough. It was certainly was something. So I'll give it. I'll give it up to a lot of people. That just looked really, really sick. So overall, the night in itself was a great event. I'm very excited to see the second round matches the way they're adding up, because right now we have Kota Ibushi versus Cedric Alexander in the second round, and to be honest, I thought that was going to be the finale. Going into this tournament, I thought that's where they were going. No, second round, we're getting possibly one of the biggest name matchups you could possibly have in this tournament, and I am wholeheartedly looking forward to it. So guys, thank you so much for downloading this week's podcast, the Rowdy Wrestling Podcast, here on rowdywrestling.net. You can always follow myself at Fortestabile or the podcast itself at Rowdy Wrestling. Check out Steve. I'm pretty much at this point the co-host, my Katie Linendahl to my not Sam, as he's constantly live tweeting pro wrestling at Rockamaniac 00. Go check him out. Go check out some indie wrestling this summer. It slows down, but there's still some spot shows. Go support your local indie wrestling. That's what I got for you. I will be back soon with some more awesome pro wrestling. It's a guarantee we'll be back with a Battleground review of that awesome triple threat between Mr. Suspended, the Champion, and Seth Rollins. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.